Welcome to another video for Pokemon Professor Review. We've got a new friend, Quaxly, has shown up to help us with inverse operations. Now there are four basic operations in math: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now for this video, we're looking at the idea of inverse operations. And in math, an inverse is something that undoes another operation. So our inverse operations need to undo the first one. In math, it's really important that we are able to undo what we've done. It was one of the first things that we absolutely had to know, so that if I, for example, was to borrow $10, how do I undo that process so that I no longer owe money? These are operations that are essential to being able to help us not only understand math, but also to help us set up equations and solve and do a whole lot of other complex things in math. We're going to look at these four basic operations and look at what their inverses are. Hopefully this is just review, that you already know right now exactly what these inverse operations are. I'm going to add one more to the list since we talked about exponents already, even though this one you may or may not know. So this would be a good time to maybe pause the video, see if you can answer what the inverse operations are for these five operations, and then come back and see if your answers are correct. Okay, let's see if your answers are correct. The inverse operation to addition, subtraction. We can add something, we can take something away. Addition and subtraction are inverse operations of each other. Multiplication, inverse operation, is division. We can multiply or grow something. We can divide or shrink something. Whenever we expand or retract, enlarge or reduce, we are talking about multiplication and division. Now, the one you may not know, powers. Remember in our video on exponents, we talked about how a power is just a base with an exponent. So then how do you undo that exponent? How do you go backwards? After you've taken 2 to the third power and you've raised it and gotten it to be 8, how can you go backwards to get back to that beginning factor of 2? Well, you'll learn a lot more about roots in algebra. You may have seen them a little bit before you got to algebra, but that is the inverse operation to powers, known as roots. Now, as you go through higher level mathematics, you will learn about more operations and their inverses. Everything in math that we can do, we can undo, and this is at every level, going all the way up through higher level math, college level math. Thank you for joining me for this Pokemon Professor Review. Watch the next video.